I know that many of you feel very nervous about this course, about the idea of public speaking. Maybe you even took this class because you thought, well, if I can record my own speeches, I'll be less nervous. I will tell you that students often report that they feel pretty nervous about that as well. A lot of the uncertainty with that. Um, Plus recording, and one of the downsides of recording is that then you can go back and watch yourself and you pick out every little, imperfection, any little thing that didn't go right. I'm going to caution you to try to avoid doing that. None of us is perfect at this. When I record these, I, set up lighting as best I can for my environment. The camera, love Zoom because of the background. See if I have a nice shirt that I can throw on or something that'll look okay. Record, and then I'll watch it before I post it, and I cringe. There's always at least 5 spots where I cringe. I notice things I do with my facial expressions or gestures I make. I've learned that I blink a lot. The point is that we all feel some nervousness. None of us is going to love our recordings, every aspect of it, but that's okay. I'm going to share the PowerPoint with you for this one. So let me set that up. And just while I'm doing that, just kind of for your own information, I set this up. I've recorded this already once before, and I didn't like the way that it was displaying in the PowerPoint. So here I am re-recording. So nervousness. You may think of a lot of physiological things that happen in your body. Maybe you feel shaky, maybe your heart's racing, you feel like you're sweating, but maybe you also feel cold, maybe you feel like you're going to pass out. The good news is we don't really know any of those things are happening to you. So what causes all this nervousness? Well, there's a lot of different reasons, just like there are a lot of different people, but I do hear from a number of people, and I hear this more. I think there's some interesting reasons why, but they are worried about being judged. And certainly I can understand that. We're in any communication situation, any social interaction situation, we may have a fear of being judged. Some of us may have that fear more than others. My daughter was a huge social referencer, and she thinks that everybody else social references, even when they don't. So she'll worry about things that for me, I'm like, you worry about that. So we're all a little bit different with that. Maybe you are worried about what you're talking about. Um, or that maybe you think maybe others won't really like what you're talking about. Or maybe you're worried that you're going to forget what you're supposed to be talking about. Some people think that a presentation has to be perfect. I had a student just last semester say she recorded her speech 26 times. And I thought, oh my gosh, don't do that. Because every single time you record, you'll find some little thing that you didn't like. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, oftentimes in life, it's the imperfections that end up being so beautiful, so unique, and make us who we are. Sometimes people are worried that something's going to go really bad or something's going to go wrong. Yeah, all right, it might. You're in the middle of recording, your Wi-Fi dies, your power goes out, you're doing a live presentation, you knock over your glass of water, but you're right. The bad things are things that can go wrong, and that happens, right? But you just pick yourself up, you just keep going. It's okay if something doesn't go quite right. Some people are worried that others are going to reject their ideas, that they're going to think, oh, what they're talking about is silly or not important. And here's the thing: in this class, especially with recording, we're in a unique situation because we're all going to know what everybody's topics are about because of the way I do discussions. And you're going to listen to speeches that you are not necessarily going to like the topic all that much. But it's okay. It doesn't mean that we have to reject those ideas. I have learned some of the most interesting information by listening to thousands of informative speeches over the years, things that I didn't know that I would ever be interested in. Many people are worried that they can't figure out how to record, and the only way to get over that is to get in there and do it. In week 2, we're going to do practice recording. We're going to practice with recording. People's environments are all different. If I turn this Zoom background off, you should see the environment that I'm in. I'm in my basement in a room with no windows and there's stuff everywhere. Maybe the lighting isn't always good. I can never get my lighting to be be great. I've tried getting rings and other things. I just said, this is the best I can do with the situation that I have. And after you do these a couple times, you kind of get familiar with the technology. And for some, maybe you're worried that you're going to forget what you're going to say. I have some solutions for that. So let's see what those are. So what can you do? What can you do to help? First of all, think about your self-talk. What are you telling yourself? If you are that person that always says you can't do something, then you're going to be more likely to not be able to do something. But if you're that person that says, I'm going to try and give it my best shot, that's what matters. That's what will get you through. Um, we're going to make solid presentation plan. I'm going to teach you how to outline, and students are often at the end of the semester, they comment about how they're like, wow, I didn't realize that having an outline was so helpful. Yeah, having a plan, very helpful. And so we're going to learn how to do that. Practice, 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 practice out loud. If you the first time you're saying your presentation out loud is when you're doing the presentation, that's probably not going to work well. Ideas in our heads sometimes sound good, and when we try them, they don't. Same thing goes with presentations. These ones a little bit more for if you're doing a live presentation, but I thought I would keep them in there. Make sure you get enough sleep before the presentation. I know that it's, you feel nervous and stuff, but getting as much sleep as possible is helpful. Also, don't do this when you're hungry. Go get something to eat. Although tip, don't drink a soda. Um, you can ask other people to give you feedback before you decide to record. If there's someone in your house, you trust them, you have a friend, you have somebody, you're a long distance person, you can hop on Zoom. Every hack student has a Zoom, access to Zoom, and do your speech over Zoom. It's a way to practice. Give yourself permission to not be perfect. I think that statement stands on its own. Give yourself permission to not be perfect. Also, I have some speaking anxiety resources in the module, and you can check any of those out. So here's the good news. We don't usually perceive your nervousness. You feel it inside more than we see it on the outside. Nervousness does usually decrease throughout the presentation. So as you get going, you kind of get a rhythm about you, and that nervousness will kind of decrease a little bit. Also, nervousness usually decreases a bit throughout the semester. Makes sense, right? This is a skill. Anytime you learn a new skill, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So you can do it. I've had thousands of students be able to do it over the years and give good presentations and do just fine in this course. And I'm sure you can be one of those students also.